When I bought the land, I bought 240 acres that are behind us in around 1980. Planner, he looked at the plans and said, oh, we could get 34 houses in this bay. As planners do, they always try for the best, but that's not where I'm coming from. I really want to preserve the bay as it was. The councils at last agreed that we have 5 sections on the ridge. The council originally wanted the land to be divided up into 5 sections, and I didn't want that because I didn't want future subdivision. So I said that let's have a space between the sections, so if George beside me builds a house and cuts all this bush out, I've still got 10 metres between me and him that he can't touch. And then I put the other land into what we call a reserve, and so then the owner of 3 and 5 will have 1/5 undivided share of the section. And that means that as you look down from your section to Pearl Bay, you'll never be able to be built out. We've planted ourselves a couple of thousand plants and through the bush and along the ridge line. And in the future, it'll just get better and better. 1/5 share is of Jack's bush, and that is bounded on the other side by Connie's bush. We're getting a lot more birds around here now. Well, Hotere was a really beautiful man, and he really loved this place. I just wanted to acknowledge him as a friend of mine, and so that's why I called it Hotere Lane. And Jack's bush is after my father, Jack, and Connie's bush is after my mum, Connie, and that's John's bush, and that's a friend of mine that died last year, and 2 years ago now, in the States, an old friend of mine. A lot of people said I should put my name on it, but I don't need that. I've been thinking about who would this appeal to, and so far, I feel it would be either people that want to have a place for their kids to grow up with, really safe beach, they can come down and swim and play. It could be a permanent resident, or it could be a holiday home. Both works really well here. But a lot of people are challenged by four-wheel drive vehicles, and so a dirt road and four-wheel drive vehicles is difficult. So what we decided to do is concrete a lot of the driveway into Pearl Bay and into Otakafi Bay. This means that for future people, they're not going to have a huge amount of repairs and maintenance. It costs us a huge amount more, about 1 million to actually put the road in. But we put it in, and also we made a parking bay just near Pearl Bay for the people of the sections so that they can put their boat out of the way of Pearl Bay Ave, which is the main access into Pearl Bay, so that in the future they've actually got a place that they can park their dinghy or their boat or their canoe or whatever they want, so that they then can just walk down from their property, pick up their boat or surf ski or whatever and go out in the water. And it also means that the Pearl Bay people aren't cluttered up with a lot of vehicles stuck in their bay. A few people have tried concrete, and it's getting much better. And this driveway, if you think of a rugby boot and you've got studs on the rugby boot, what we did is actually put studs underneath this concrete driveway, so there won't be cracking. It may be cracking with slight, but you can actually the idea of the studs on the driveway is that will stay on the driveway. A lot of places in the past, they put concrete on, but then the land moves, and so you end up losing the driveway. And so that's why we did it that way. After a lot of consultation, what we decided we'd actually have a gate so that it was actually a private vehicle access to Pearl Bay and Otakafi Bay, but it was actually walking access for public from Oropu Road to Pearl Bay. And so there's a public walkway that will go through once the council finishes it. I found it really, really challenging that this whole project's taken so long. Like originally I was told it would take maybe 2 years, allow for 2 years. And it's been 7 to 8 years now. And that's been a lot of stress. But the thing is that to me, I didn't want it to overwhelm me. And so I've decided that it's more important that I do this project really well and not get stressed. So I've just tried to relax about the whole thing, realise that it will take its time, but it will be good. The thing is, I'm not really into having things that will break down the next day. And I don't want to be seen, I'm living around the corner, so I don't want to be seen as the guy that just made it quick, made a quick buck. Like, we'll come out okay with this in the end, but it certainly wasn't done for the money or the stress that was caused. But it's what we wanted is somewhere that people can enjoy and have access, and the people that in Pearl Bay that want access now have got vehicle access. Well, I think that in 10 years' time, this land is just going to get better and better, because I really want people just to enjoy the space and the nature, and the people that have actually been here and have bought the sections, they are just amazed that they've got the space around them. It's like being in the country, but you've got this facilities that pop back in Onetangi and go to your restaurants if you want. It's only about 15 minutes drive, but it's like you come over the hill from Onetangi, it's like another world. It's great. On the weekends in the winter time, and there's a ferry from Oropu into the city, and in the summertime it's pretty much every day. It just depends now of COVID, I'm not quite sure the schedule, but there's a ferry that comes from the city, pops into Oropu and then goes to Coromandel and then comes back the same way. And quite a few people commute that way or come for the weekend that way. And I've done it myself, and it's really easy. It's about an hour on the ferry rather than half an hour, and you end up in your place. It's great. One of the things that a lot of people have asked me about is that, so where are you going to move to? Well, I'm not moving anywhere. Like if I could, I'd be buried on my land, which is just over the hill. And I love walking around here, and there's beautiful walks. And what I've tried to do is make it so that financially this project would work. I agree with the financiers, I had to do that. But also socially and spiritually, I wasn't stuffing up something to make it work. I didn't want to not feel proud of what I've done. And I feel really proud. Like, people in Pearl Bay and Otakafi Bay have got a really easy access if they want it. And a lot of them are just so wrapped because they can stay here now. They're getting older and they can drive in. They don't have to walk up the hill or get a boat in. But the other thing I wanted, I saw my friends here that, as one said, if I die, will we have access? And I didn't feel that was fair, and I felt that I had the opportunity to make this work, and I'm a problem solver, and I like problems, but I didn't think this was going to be such a long journey. But anyway, that's fine. Well, a lot of people talk about, because I'm involved in the art world, a lot of people talk about, they come and say to me, what should you invest? What should I buy? I want to buy something to invest in. And I say, well, buy something that you really love, or buy something that really challenges you. Because if it doesn't challenge you, what's the point in having it there? I did it originally so that I'd end up with this piece of land that goes up to the ridgeline, which I thought I originally owned, but I found I didn't when they did surveys. It's like the water tank I had on my property all of a sudden wasn't my water tank anymore. I think I would sum this whole thing up as this is a really beautiful, quiet place that is surrounded by bush, and the bush is getting better and better.